In today's station, I'll be talking on stop monitoring your spouse. You are not his bodyguard. Don't push your spouse into infidelity because of your insecurity. Do you look at the text messages on your spouse's phone? Do you ever wonder if you should? And is your partner okay with you looking at their text? Is your partner secretive with his or her phone? And should you be worried? Well, for the last question, I think you should be worried. Not actually about the fact that he is secretive. You should be worried because it is an indication that something is mixing in your relationship, which is trust. I think you should have a transparent and open relationship with each other. It shouldn't be a matter of having to sting them on social media or constantly checking their phones and messages. If you find yourself with this pitiable impulse to check your partner's phone almost every time, then you need to deal with some underlying issues that may doom the relationship in the future or lead to divorce, if not attended to. Stop spying on your spouse and build trust instead. You are not his bodyguard. Spying on your spouse can help you dictate infidelity. But building trust will ensure that this doesn't happen in the first place. Some people are controlling. They always want to be on top and in charge. They know knowledge is power, and they want to have power over other people by digging into their privacy. And every move they made has to find something bad to use against them. It is appealing to know that most married couples have turned themselves to detectives and investigators in their homes. It's either they are searching for evidence of cheating, attachment, or unusual closeness to a third party. There is no substitute for trust in a relationship. If it is not there, then you don't have a relationship. Because the foundation to a lasting relationship is trust. Mutual trust is sacrosanct to any sustainable relationship. And that is why I always advise people to build trust before they start a home or going into relationship. Trust is fundamental to healthy and strong relationship. I normally advise young couples that have issues with encroaching on each other's privacy to spend their time building trust than spending it on stinking and finding faults or investigating their partners. A home without trust can be exposed to attacks, blackmail, slander, criticism, and setup. When you build trust and invest in good and effective communication, your fear will automatically disappear. Most times, instead of effective communication, we give rooms for thoughts. The decision not to check on your spouse's phone in their absence can be a great source of peace and tranquility. When you are so acquisitive in looking for your spouse's thoughts through his or her phone, the truth is that you will ultimately find one. The thought we mostly find on our smartphone is not a function of how guilty they are. It is simply a function of what we are looking for. If you look out for thoughts in your spouse's phone, you will find it. Before you check your spouse's phone, the first critical question to ask yourself is, what is the motive? If you have an uncontrollable penchant for checking your spouse's phone behind their back, then it may be evidence of foundational weakness in your marriage that needs urgent diagnosis and attention. Address such a habit or insecurity before it gets out of hand and destroy your relationship. Many people are not spying on their partners and spouse using spy apps. They can be miles from their partner but still know when he or she has sent or received a text message. They know exactly what that message says and who sent it. With an inexpensive spy app bought online, people cannot spy on text and see visually all activities on their partner's phone. They can do all of this without him or her noticing or having possession of his or her phone. Technology has changed the way we encroach on people's privacy, but must it be the doom for your relation? How much you think you are entitled to your partner's private information? Stop digging into other people's life without their permission. Be careful, because sometimes you may find out what you don't want to find out, and that may lead to fighting between you two. If you have trust issues in your relationship or marriage, then it is high time you call your partner and discuss your fears and reservations. You can never get the best out of a relationship that is full of mistrust. I tell you the truth, such a relationship will lead nowhere. If you are stuck in a combative marriage with a controlling or abusive spouse, he or she may be exerting control over you by attempting to track your every move. There are some married couples, married partners who track one another's every move, assign people to monitor them to check their every move, which ought not to be so. This is not a healthy relationship, because it will poke you every day by issues arising. It is 99% likely that you do not have a right to spy on your partner. Every human being has a right to privacy. It is fundamental to our well-being and security. In some states and countries, it is illegal to spy on another person's unless you have a legal warrant. Spying can become a habit, an obsession even, because you will always want to check on his or her every move, waiting for your spouse to make a mistake for you to hold on to and claim rights over your spouse. You'll be reading meaning into their works, which they may probably not meant. All of this will amount to nothing except divorce and breakup. You may not agree with this. You may want to feel vindicated and to find something, anything to justify your behavior. But in the end, what will be your benefits? Everyone needs freedom. Your spouse is not exempted from this as well. Don't deny your spouse of that freedom. When spying, snooping and monitoring becomes compulsory, you cannot stop even if you want to, because you have been held captive by infidelity, fear, and lack of trust. Ask yourself these questions before you spy. Would you be fine with it if he will spy on you? Are you prepared to lose your relationship when he finds out? Don't you think you are misreading the situation? What are your reasons for this lack of trust? Think about how you would feel if you discover your partner was doing to you what you are doing to them by listening to your calls, knowing where you are every single second of the day and nights. Would you be happy with that? Or maybe you slip out and make sure something that has never been discussed with you. In most cases, the relationship will end right there. You will lose everything. So this you should think over before monitoring your spouse. Try to understand how valuated and odd you will be if your partner was watching you in the same way, unknown to you. Learn to put yourself in his shoes and see things the other way around. What ought most couples where they find out that their partner is spying on them? It's not the acts, but the fact that they don't trust them. Lack of trust can be so hurting, most especially when you are true to yourself, honest and faithful to yourself. Ask those who embarked on such acts what they got at the end of it. You will discover they got nothing but separation, broken homes, and divorce. Perhaps after checking, you find out your suspicions about him was wrong. His texts are not as incriminating as you want to believe or think he's cheating. How will you feel? Because by then you may have caused harm to him. Maybe he's flirting, chat on Facebook and other social media platforms. He's innocent. What will you do after accusing him? How do you think it will be at that point in time? It will feel hot on the inside. Where did this glowing thought and lack of trust come from? Was it from your previous relationship? Were you cheated on by your ex-spouse? Is it your suspicious, possessive, and jealous nature to need to know what they are doing when they are not with you? If you are feeling this way, then I think my teachings on what jealousy can do in a relationship will help you out of that. In a healthy marriage, your partner will be open about where they are and where they have been. If you think your spouse is lying, then it is time to address the issue. Where is the love in your relationship? You must know these facts. You can't be feeling love when you are suspicious. Rather, that suspicious will make you feel on the inside that you are not being loved by your spouse. That is what some couples experience. No matter their marks, no matter the level of love you share to them, they will still feel not loved enough because of their suspicious acts on the part of their partner. If you are insecure, you aren't feeling love. If you are jealous, you aren't feeling in a loving state. If you are addicted to snobbing, you are not expressing love. Love cannot exist in you when you are feeling negative emotions. Love and emotions doesn't go together. So anyone who gives rooms for emotions will never feel love, no matter the degree of love that is shown to them. It isn't possible. Lack of trust and fear is what all this boils down to. Fear of the unknown. If there is no trust or loyalty, then the relationship has zero chance of lasting. Spying on your spouse is a good idea, because your mind won't be at ease, and that will reduce your intimacy with one another. Despite doubts and suspicions, it is best to address your concerns clearly to your spouse and be carefree. A situation that is not addressed creates rooms for thoughts, fear of the unknown. But when you sit down with your spouse to address any given situations, your thoughts, your mind, and everything will be carefree. And that is where you will sense love in reality. It is not necessary to make assumption without knowing the real facts. Spying is not a good thing. Even if you have doubts or suspicions, you should clear them with your partner. Stop assuming things without knowing the real truth. Sit down and discuss with your partner about what you are not clear about. A relationship needs to be open. Doubts and insecurities will inflict negativity and drive away the trust and love. Why does a spouse monitor their partner? 1, insecurity. Don't bring your past insecurities to your present relationship. As a counselor, I have observed that insecurities destroy relationships more than infidelity. I have even seen many people push their spouse into infidelity because of their insecurity. An insecure partner will definitely be unnecessarily acquisitive even when nothing has gone well. Deal with your insecurity before it destroys your relationship. Another reason why couples monitor their spouse is possessiveness. Stop acting in such a way that looks as if you own your spouse. Don't act like a box to them. They are not one of the kids at home. You should be controlling and ordering or monitoring about. Possessiveness can be frustrating and irritating. Everybody has a right to nurture his or her individuality. Everybody have the right to privacy. We must learn to give our partner breathing space in a relationship. When you refuse to give your partner a breathing space, you deny them the platform for personal growth and inspiration. Love many times needs space to grow. Love is not overprotective. A love that is overprotective is a selfish kind of love. Some of the love we see in relationship today are nothing but a selfish love. A selfish love is a kind of love where a person wants to do something that suits him or her only, without thinking about the other person or how the other person feels. All you want is just what will suit you at the expense of the other. Even if you are hurting your partner, when you overprotect your spouse, you may lose them one day. Then another reason why people monitor their spouse is disrespect. Checking other people's phone without their permission is a sign of disrespect. If you need to use your partner's phone, then ask for permission. Intimacy is not an opportunity to invade into your partner's privacy. Most times, we take things for granted in our journey of intimacy with our spouse. We shouldn't be so. Don't wait until your partner starts passwording his or her phone before you realize that you have gone too far in invading into their privacy. The next point is encroachment on privacy. There might be a message on your spouse's phone that is confidential and not for public consumption, not even for you. especially where your spouse is involved in a support work that has to do with counseling, which requires a lot of confidentiality. The decision to check your spouse's phone must be mutually decided. As a counselor, there are things people discuss with me which they never told anyone, not even their spouse. I, as a counselor, it is my duty to keep them confidential in order to earn their trust for the rest of my life. If people must entrust me with some certain secrets, then I should be able to be confidential about their secrets. The next point is jealousy. Jealousy in a relationship is a mental cancer that needs treatment urgently. In jealousy, there is more of selfish love than selfless love. Someone once said, don't let jealousy fool you. It is just another name for insecurity. Work on these things and work on yourself. Stop spying on your spouse and build trust instead. Spying on your spouse can help you detect infidelity. But building trust will ensure that this doesn't happen in the first place. Build trust and you have a blissful marriage ahead. If there is trust in your relationship, and that trust is on the side of both partners, then there will be no need for monitoring, checking, observing one another, but rather each partner will be mind-free as regards what they are doing at their absence. So my advice for you is, instead of you to monitor your spouse and to act as his bodyguard wherever he's going to, I'll prefer you to build trust. I'll prefer your relationship to be laid on the foundation of trust.